All right, so we have a lot of prep on the wheels. I've only done the first initial test. Gator's wrapping that one with rim tape, aka duct tape
for this stuff.
So here is what I've been running lately. I know Graham's on it, a couple other people, but it's basically a crazy inner beadlock system. So, you know, setting up the rim tape just like you would on a normal wheel, but now, oh, we've got it in the bag. How many pieces? 8 pieces?
I think 10.
10? So
Maybe
yeah, anyways.
8, maybe 2.
Every 1, 2,
6,
3, 4.
9.
Every 4 spokes, drill another hole. I went and bought 3 5/16 drill bits since mine were smoked from drilling rims in the last, 10 years.
One's got an air chuck.
Oh yeah, obviously one has the air chuck. So basically this is the new version of Tubliss. I don't even know if there's a name for it yet. But I would call it more of like an inner beadlock system. And you mount it the same way, similar as a Tubliss, put in the rim almost into the tire. And so you can run it like that, run slime. I'm actually running, they're starting to make basically, not custom because there'll be stock, but a half mousse. I'll grab that to show what it's gonna look like. Gator's grabbing it. I can just cut it and edit it. So yeah, so here are the mousse options I was talking about. So this is the plushy style nitro mousse. Obviously pretty soft. This is meant for a 140, but it will fit in a 110. And honestly, I've been running a 110 JX8 with 0 air. Like I started the first ride with just a 140 half weird, half mousse looking thing. So there's the plushie. Here's the platen, just a little more rigid, a little more hold up, but really cool. And it's even like kind of concave on the inside. Well, it isn't concave on the inside to kind of make room for that space there with these bead locks. And then these are slotted, so you can put slime in there, and the slime will actually kind of work through and hang a little bit better and get to the right spot if there is a leak. So obviously there's a potential to slice your tire, which happened with the first tire I tested with this, but honestly it still worked great, literally just with this in here, and pretty incredible. It's cool to see something actually change for the first time in quite some time. Obviously Tubliss has been around for a while, we've had tubes forever, mousses, and this is definitely a spot where I feel like with hard enduro,
we'd just kind of accepted.
Yeah, we've accepted this is what it is.
It wasn't going to beat up on one side. And
yeah.
This wraps that beating situation.
Yeah, so now you got really nice sidewall feel.
I don't.
All that plush, baby.
It's here, but it's not heavy.
Yeah, it's really
it
not
can't
too
be
bad.
far off from a mousse. I don't know.
Yeah, standard mousse. So obviously, he claims they're lighter, but you can say measure a platinum mousse, and that's obviously going to be heavier than maybe a Michelin or some of the other ones. But obviously, those don't last as long, so it is what it is. All right, so we'll go back to filming this later. This is slow and tedious, but you do each individual one, keep it kind of loose, and then I guess Gator will film me mounting it. All right, so I talked a little bit about the new, Tubliss inner beadlock system. I don't even know the name for it yet, but figured I might as well do a changing video, and I'm no expert, so just tell me how to do it later, obviously. So I got the IRC JX8. And for King of Motos, it's a bit faster desert, so you want like more hold ups. I'm actually running like the 140 type mousse inside, so we already have it inside the tire lubed right now, but it's more or less shaped like this, concave on the inside, so it kind of fits and mounts around better on the beadlock system. And then I guess the grooves and channels are supposed to, if you get slime in there, you can put slime and hopefully prevent punctures. So now I'm going to basically look like a fool getting this mounted on, but it's always good to have like a little bit extra lubricant to help slide it on. So like obviously we have the mousse lube, but in this case I'm literally just using Moto Shine from Motorex, like the stuff you use to have a new bike in a can. So I'll kind of just spray that around the bead, and I'll actually do the inside of the bead, just because why not? More lube's better. This stuff always smells, no matter the brand. It's like some sort of Fruit Loop smell or something. Okay, now to mount this on your tire, like normally you throw the rim and everything on the rubber conda, and you kind of like hook the rim lock and work your way around. with this setup and with Tubliss, you basically need to like encompass the tire. That was a big word, encompass the tire around the rim. So in this case, we're going to use this like metal, I don't know, sheet metal piece. And that's to kind of just like help slide and guide the rim into the right position. So in this case,
I was showing the tubeless thing.
oh yeah. So obviously you tighten it down, it clamps everything in place. So this is the somewhat tricky part. And it's good to keep your foot on the backside on that metal shoe, we'll call it. And then just kind of like push in and start forcing. Sometimes it'll go easy. Other times, not so easy, like in this case right now. So, awkwardly standing here, I'm actually going to grab a spoon and see if I can help pull it over a little bit. Okay, it's starting to go. Okay, so it just took me to get a spoon to kind of hook it up over there. Boom, and there we are. So I don't think I struggled too bad. Always the initial, getting that feel for getting it in place in there. So now we'll throw it on the Rabaconda and basically put one side on, flip it over, and we'll hook in the other side. So for me personally, I learned how to change a trials tire when I was like 12 or 13. So my dad always told me to not finish on sprocket side because it's going to be tighter to get the bead on, so there's a chance you'll lose a knuckle and start bleeding a little bit. So I'm going to start on sprocket side and kind of push it on as best as I can for now before I even get a spoon on it. And these are new rims, so I'm trying not to ruin them if I don't have to. Oh, that was too much lube, slid right off. Alright, there's the first side. Don't think I scratched the rim too bad. Okay.
Is this your second one ever doing?
This is, yes, this is the second time I've done
I
this.
figured this was the first one over
That was the first. This is the second. I did a Tubliss a few times in like 2014, and honestly, I prefer this because
You can't pinch that inner
it's
bladder.
kind of a pain with that inner bladder. Like I've never pinched one, but this thing, it's like, oh, whatever. There's a mechanical metal piece in there. Nothing's gonna really break on me. So I'm gonna hook that right into there. And just kind of work our way now around the rim like any tire, but obviously we don't have to kind of like work and pry around the rim lock since we got all these little mini ones in there. But as it does start getting a little bit tighter, we're obviously going to want like the other side to suck down. So I'm actually going to use my foot here, my sweet dad shoes. Work around, maybe I'll get one more pull here. And then I kind of want to get the bead to suck in on this other side. Okay, so press that down.
I've never witnessed this before.
Oh God, I'm looking like a fool.
I like it.
Oh, no, not the rim. I'm scared.
It needs some give some downward pressure.
I know, huh?
Suck. This thing has 10 individual rim lock nuts, or 9. A lot of them. Oh, there it went in.
There she
I
goes.
saw the bead. So he was prying, making sure that sucked.
Yeah, this is going on the race bike, so when I'm testing, I really don't want to pop a.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
Alrighty, so tire's on. Better to be safe than sorry.
That's the air chuck.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's really loose. So now we're kind of just individually tighten these as we go along and kind of like pop the bead out essentially when it kind of falls into that pocket in the wheel. And eventually we'll keep working ourselves around and then add air to it and actually pop the bead on. So when the first time I tried it, I didn't get these as tight, and so there was a air leak, so it was just coming out. So you got to get these a certain decently tight at first to kind of press the tire out and lock it in and put some air in, pop the bead on, and torque them after that. All right, so to me this is a little bit more tedious part of this kind of tire setup, but I think what I might end up doing is just investing in one of those little like quarter, what are those things called? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Battery powered, the angle impact.
Yeah, the angle impact.
Ratchet. Quarter-inch ratchet.
Quarter-inch angle ratchet. Just, yeah, I'm gonna do that. But
you know what name brand it's gonna be, guys.
it's gonna be Ryobi. So the bead's on here, but across on the other side of the tire, the bead's not on all the way. So I don't know. I'm gonna use common sense. This is not right or wrong. It's just me thinking. But I'm gonna start where it's on good and work my way around. So as it gets to where it's sucked in at, it'll like kind of help push it out, and then get it what looks like pretty close, and put some air in it, and then we'll torque all these to spec. That's probably good.
Wonder what spec is. Do we know?
Yeah, it was 8 foot-pounds. So got all these tightened. They're not torqued yet, but now I just want to get the tire popped on the bead. So obviously it actually went on its own via tightening all these, but on the one I did last time I had to use a little bit of air. So just a little bit of air in there, and it'll pop it on the rest of the way. And then from there you can put it on the bike or do it on the stand and basically torque all these bolts. I believe it was 8 foot-pounds, but you have to actually periodically check them a little bit because mine did come loose after my first ride. So get it torqued, spec'd out, and go out and ride it, have a good time. And before you go out and ride again, make sure you torque these bolts because it will kind of self-adjust in there. So one thing we did kind of come across was just how small the diameter of the little hole is for the valve stem. So for the air comes through, I was like putting it on all the way, and so much air was going through, it was almost like clogging itself, and it actually wasn't taking air. So I kind of had to do like pressure and to get the air through there evenly and help pop the tire on the bead. So just a strange note that you normally would not come across.
Yeah, it sounds like it's blowing air out everywhere, but it's blowing it out down there, but it also is filling it up, and we're only trying to get to 3 to 8 PS, whatever.
Yeah,
low
crazy.
PSI.